You're still here. Still in the garage. Ready to get the handbrake in this car. We're going to have somebody behind the camera today. That's going to be very useful. It won't take me 4 hours to build a 15-minute seat bracket. So, that'll be nice. We're going to get this Nameless Performance hydraulic handbrake in this car. Stay with us. All right, we got our seat ready in our car. You're going to want to get yourself in a good seating position. Got our dash installed. You're going to want to install any accessory that you think is going to be in the way of your handbrake. So, I want to get my handbrake on the inside of my shifter close to me. Really don't have a lot of room in the BMW with the dash right there. And the tight steering wheel clearance. But I think what my plan is, we're going to get a piece of steel, cut out the center of it. We'll see what I got in the shop. I'll make a little platform out here, bolt it to in front of the shifter, behind the shifter. Maybe put some nut certs in here. Maybe through bolt it through the tunnel. I like to pull on things hard. Gotta give it a jerk. So, yeah, I'm gonna look for some steel and we'll get going. Now that we know about where the handle is gonna be placed, somewhere up here, we found this perfectly good used grinding wheel that's wore to the perfect diameter for this shifter boot. We'll get a hole cut in our template. So we'll move over to the cutting table. I'll do a little offset for the shifter because the handbrake's going to be out here. Be something like this. So we don't need any of this. Just make some general marks. Keep our Nameless Performance on the foam. Get this cut out and transferred over to our 3/16 and cut that. I don't like it. No, sure, I don't like it at all. Okay, we've refined our template a little bit. We know a little better where it's going to sit. You want to make sure you got good clearance on everything. Your leg, the master cylinder is going to be back here. They also make these remote mount. Remote mount master cylinder. I think this is looking pretty good though. We can trim a lot off this template. We don't need all of it. And trim some fat here. You don't need any of this. Now we got to make a new arc. Now this diameter is too big. Nothing Nothing I do will look right now, so stand by while I find something better. Okay, we got our refined template back in the car. Looks like when we lay this out on our material, we can leave our line. That way we'll get this will get tighter to our shifter boot. It doesn't need to be quite so large. We can make it fit nice and tight. So we'll be cutting on the inside of the line we mark. We'll get our bolt holes drilled in it. We'll get this hydraulic handbrake attached to it. We're going to take this apart. No reason to scratch up. Nameless is fine work here. So we'll get this pin out. So we're just working with just the bracket. We'll get that laid out. I think I'm going to do one front bolt hole to hold the front. It's secured with two. So the front one, I'm just going to do one. And then in the back, I think I'm going to drill about 3 holes so I can clock it. In case it's not exactly where I want it, I can tailor it to suit my needs. So we'll get over to the bench and get this taken apart. We're going to get our template laid out on our steel. I'm going to use the factory edges of this piece of steel to give myself nice straight clean cuts, especially on the outside of the part where you're going to see it. You're not going to see this side so much in the car. So, well, actually that's not going to work because that's not square. So I don't get my long side. So we're going to go this way. Get this transferred over. Again, take your time. Nobody's yelling at you in the background because Jamie's not here. Now, like I was saying in the car, we are going to cut on the inside of this line to make our circle smaller and tighter to the shift boot. And we'll round out all of these. Whoops. Whoops. I'll do it with the plasma. Well, plasma cutter's broken. Don't know what's wrong with it. Still doing the same thing, Bob. Moving on. We're going old school. We're gonna get the torch out. Forgot to turn my bottles on. My bottles. So, we'll get this cut out. And then we'll clean up what mess I make with the grinder. I couldn't see anymore. I just stop. Just stop what you're doing. No reason to ruin your part. Alright. As you can see, I'm no good with the torch. But we'll get it done anyway. We'll make it look pretty. Get out. Get her cleaned up. We got our part clean, or not cleaned up, it's still pretty ugly. So, I'm not the handiest with the torch. I just own one. Like a lot of people. So, we'll get this cleaned up. We're going to start with the grinding wheel. Get the major stuff off, and then we'll switch to the sandpaper. Flap disc. Don't forget to put on your ears. It's loud. Nobody likes yelling at their friends. Alright, we switched out to our sandpaper, detail out the edges more, clean up the center hole at a later time with a different bit. I'll have to get the carbide burr. I had to change my paper. Okay, that one still wore out too. I was just planning on using a plasma cutter, not a torch. I didn't want to grind that much, but it is what it is. We'll get this cleaned up. We'll be back. Well, a little more work when you're not so handy with a torch, but it'll make a nice finished part. I'm going to test fit it in the car, get some bolt holes drilled in it, get it fastened in the car. Pretty cool part, actually. Alright, we're back in the car with our finished part. We're going to test fit it around the shifter, make sure we got good clearance. Never test fit your part too many times. So, looks pretty good around the shifter boot. Nice and tight, doesn't interfere. Get our handle back up here. Get seated in your seat. You don't want to mount it too far away. This looks like we don't even need this anymore. I guess we'll just continue that cut straight across. Get rid of that material, doesn't need to be there. And this is why you test fit your parts. I think we can make a mark for this handle though. Like that should be pretty decent. We'll be able to adjust our angle once the master cylinder is in, where it screws into here. So, we'll cut this off. We don't need this material. Let's make some notes. We'll get a spot for some bolt holes. Somewhere around here. From here. And then we'll just measure straight up from these holes so it makes a nice square pattern. In fact, we're going to do 3. We're going to use 6 bolts. So I'm just going to use pop nuts into the transmission tunnel. Now I only marked the hole for the front of this hydraulic handbrake. We'll take this apart. Maybe we don't have to. But I think we're going to put about 3 holes in the back of this so we can change its angle. But we'll mark that when it's out of the car so we get nice accurate marks. Maybe get all crazy and use a transfer punch. Alright, so getting out of the car, this is why you test fit your parts. I noticed there's holes under here, and I laid out some of my holes right in them. So, we got to start over with our bolt hole layout. And I think since I'm using pop nuts, we're going to keep them real tight to where the pan rolls its edges. That'll give us the best sturdiness out of this. So we're going to go for here, 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 and here. But again, this is why you test fit your parts. Alright, we'll get our holes, we'll get these punched out so we can get some holes drilled in this thing. These are going to be what holds this down to the transmission tunnel. This one out here in the corner is for the front of the hydraulic handbrake. Get this on the drill press here. That's not right. That's good. That is the wrong bit for that hole. So, let's drill this one. Alright, meet me in the car and we'll get these holes transferred over. Alright, now we can get our marks transferred over to the transmission tunnel. So just hold her where you like it. I'm not using a tape measure because drift car. Like this one too. I don't know if you can see this, but our hole for the hydraulic handbrake handle ended up right on this edge of the transmission tunnel. So we're going to mark that. We're going to mark this edge. And before we install it, we're going to smack that with a hammer to make room for our bolt. So, mark these. It's a little thinner than I thought. We might be putting a backing plate under this because I like to pull hard. I guess we'll just do this now. Perfectly clear. So, we'll drill these out. Get some nutserts in them. Okay. Here we got our holes marked. We're going to get them drilled out. That tunnel is ridiculously thin. I don't know if you guys know what a pop nut is. I'll show you. This might need a backing plate. Some of you are probably wondering why I'm using 5 bolts. It's because it's so thin. Because BMW. Where? My other drill bit. These particular pop nuts use 25/64. That's hilarious to me. I'm barely pushing. It just disappears. So, kind of stuck in the car here. Get our pop nut tool. This is your pop nut. It's got threads in there. It's kind of like a rivet. This knurled part is what collapses. get it on the end of your pop nut gun. This is I'm not going to sit here and tell you how to use this thing, but make sure there's threads poking out of this. That's the important part. Hey, jam it in the hole. Jam it in the hole and squeeze it tight. You don't want to overdo it though, because you will kink your rivet under here and then your threads will be crooked. So if your tool goes crooked while you're doing this, you did it wrong. Just like that. We got a threaded insert. Jeez! I need Hercules for this. This is why they sell the long. They got long handle ones. These quarter 20 ones are difficult. Or maybe I should go to the gym. So, we'll get all these in here, if I can. They make pneumatic ones of these too. Woo! Where are we? It's a leverage issue. That's what it is. It's difficult. Oh, that's much better. Alright, we got all our pop nuts in the transmission tunnel. We got this plate on here. That might actually be plenty sturdy when we're done. We're not going to be able to run a washer on that one. That's a mistake. Not too bad though. Should work good with a lock washer. I don't even think we need to make more than one hole in here. Uh-oh. That's all the way over in reverse. First. Definitely gonna be sticking with a short shifter in this car. I lost my Sharpie. You gotta definitely take your time when you're doing something like this. We got a lot of time into that bracket. I don't want to make another one. I don't want the master cylinder to run into me. In fact, we're going to change this front hole too. We're a little too close to the shifter. I'm going to go all the way out here. That gives me a little better clearance with the master cylinder. Still puts the handle in a good spot. I can move it up here. The BMW is tight. Yeah, it's not a lot of clearance. Nothing wrong with a nice tight package though. I think maybe we won't put both. Okay. I think that's going to work. We'll get it off here. We'll redo this hole. Get this one in there. Get it bolted back in the car with the master cylinder on it. We'll see you back in the car. All right, handbrake in the car. Let's go. How are we gonna put this in there? We need our light. We gotta get our light, and we obviously need to bolt on that bracket. I got all my shit. Okay. So, what we need to do here, we need to get this hardware in. Handbrake all bolted together. Got the plate bolted on we made. I'm going to put washers on top of this because this is a piece of cast. It's not a bad idea. Definitely going to need to change the angle. We left this pin loose so we could do that. Maybe. Maybe a little more. We'll go with that for now. Who knows? It's all still hot. Let me grab my 1/2 inch wrenches real quick before I jerk on that real hard, because I'm gonna. Just wait. So, make it tight. A lot of room. Not working. Apparently I didn't plan ahead. Look at it snug. Never enough tools. Might be sturdy enough. It's pretty out of the way. Get a little closer to the dash. Too close. So I'll just put it right back where I had it. Handbrake's in! I can go to bed! You fucking grin on my face. Thing's fucking great. Anything else to do? Oh, not perfect. Oh, better now. Woo! Reverse. First. Don't forget to have your clutch in when you handbrake. Skirt, skirt! Holy shit! We need hydraulic lines. Hydraulic lines and fluid. And calipers. And fucking mounts and other parts. Good job, Nameless. I'm going to bed.